It's Red Bull Bomber. Down from the bottom left. Great spawning positions for this guy. Spawning in the blue, representing Liquid, it is TLO.
And for some of you, like us, who was looking for Bomber on Twitter earlier, we couldn't find him.
Yeah,
he's always been StarTel_, I think it was, because he was there yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
He's now SC2 Bomber. Kind of like me, because I'm a Paulo SC2, but he's SC2 Bomber, so it's just sort of back and forth. And then, of course, it's always at Liquid TLO here. But now, Frost. TLO's choice of map in this best of 5 series, where obviously the winner is the first player to get 3 points, 3 maps to their name, TLO with the first one. They've spawned cross positions. This is the best scenario TLO could have hoped for on his map. It's not only just far away, your 4 bases are tucked into this kind of sideways V shape, maybe a, you know, like a 45-degree angle. It's really nice, yeah, that kind of C cup shape.
Yeah.
It's nice and compact, and obviously the area that the spray damage from Bomber is always just going to come straight through the middle. So it's a lot easier for TLO to kind of keep all his bases intact and be able to handle the pressure that we'll be seeing from Bomber throughout this.
And likewise, Bomber, though, realizing that it is such a big map, he has to kind of change things up a little bit. Going for the command center first, but TLO's probably anticipating such a move. It was
no idea where TLO spawned, so the 2 builds of choice are going to be macro focused. It's either going to be a Reaper opening or command center first. These are the 2 most common builds that we see in this matchup. And with the command center first here from Bomber, you're most likely just going to see a super regular playstyle from him, or should I call it a build order. So taking the gas now, just a single gas, he'll be looking to get up the factory, get up the reactor, aim for a 3rd command center, and somewhere there. I guess one thing you can say that's a little bit of a disadvantage in these positions, it is a little bit harder to find out exactly what Bomber is up to.
Yeah.
Inside the main base, he can predict its command center first or Reaper, but what the follow-up is going to be, that's a little bit harder to spot.
And the 2 Overlords, yeah, they just get over there. They're here for Bomber, just to keep him nice and steady. So I guess he's going to be going straight up to that factory from this point on, as he can try and play out his normal game from there. Because, again, we mentioned that Bomber does like to mix in that 3 racks aggression from time to time, but it only ever really comes once in a series. In a best of 5, we may see it twice, but I don't anticipate like every game. That would just be insanity.
Yeah, that would be pretty much, well, the factory first, then the reactor is the usual. He can get it at the same time, or maybe the reactor first. It's up to him, really. Well, TLO's decided to go for 4 queens into a single extractor. And I'm wondering where the second one is, unless he's going to go a little bit heavier on queens or for a 3rd. Base, he should be looking to take the second extractor down. Okay, there it is. And immediately and so with such a fast command center, there's no bunker, no additional support down exactly on time here. That is a pretty greedy build from Bomber, but TLO has no option to punish this. And this is a good start from Bomber, like really solid 3rd command center up earlier, means earlier mules, earlier 3 sets of FVs going to be produced. Really, really good build from Bomber.
Yeah, and then earlier extra barracks going down, and the quicker he can start
just stronger
pushing across. Yeah, exactly. So this is a really cool start here for Bomber here in game number 2. But meanwhile, TLO, he does have 2 creeps, two queens on creep spread duty. So the creep for TLO is normally pretty darn good. In the past, we saw him trying to throw down hatcheries in the middle, walking a queen out there. He's kind of moved back from that kind of style and just has pushed it out very aggressively.
Ooh, TLO's going to try and for a 3rd base. He's thrown down the Bailey Nest, is building a lot of Zerglings here. He's obviously spotted his opponent's greed here, as mentioned, and he's going to try to break it down. But he's going to attempt it.
It's got to overwhelm, right?
Yeah, like, he's got a surprise. Look, he's got to come around the right-hand side. If he meets the Hellions in the middle of the map, more preparation time, more bunkers can come down. Even a bunker just beginning in the first place because he doesn't even have one.
Yeah.
But Ling's coming around the right-hand side here. TLO's looking to trick him.
Oh, This hole in the middle watchtower hasn't really seen too much at all. Those Lings all scurrying around the right-hand side. They're going to be seen for a long time. The Queens are going to have to hold strong against the...
Spread any more creep here. They're not going to try to be too adventurous. He has really nothing at home because Un's just outside of the pathway where the Hellions are going. So just by this third base. And most of the Banelings like that. No bunker, nothing at home.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely has no idea. The Hellions are going to work on one of the Queens. There are some Zerglings there as well, though, to try and help TLO out. But that's a lot of Banelings morphing in.
The Banshee! It's it sees Lings. It sees the Banelings.
Oh, and now he has to leave him very, very vulnerable indeed. He breaks on through.
There's no wall on the high ground either.
Oh, TLO, Bomber is supply blocked at this point. There's one Banshee on the way, but this is going to be catastrophic for him. He's already lost 11 workers.
He's already lost 11 workers. TLO's getting rid of the reactor to stop the Hellions coming out 2 by 2. And there's a lot more Lings coming on. The Hellions going to be able to hold off, though. As we are seeing, the Lings are starting to disappear.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hellions there. Yes, they are weak. There's still more Lings on the way. The Banshees cutting up some of the reinforcements, denying some of the Banelings from morphing in, and killing some off on the reinforced. That's really, really nice. Here, but for Bomber.
Yeah, this is always going to be hard to make work because of the amount. 36 SCVs, but 3 sets of mules to 34 drones and the double upgrades. Bomber holds, and Bomber is in a lead after this.
Yeah, I really don't think that there's
third either, which means he's going to be delayed from mining on the third.
Yeah.
This is a good hold from Bomber there.
All right, and there's still only 3 quarters to keep going at this point, especially once those Hellions decide that they are comfortable to move out. There are links for the counterattack set up here for TLO, but he has to buy himself a lot of time.
Yeah, this is you know, we talked about the decision-making of TLO in the previous game where he went for the counter and made it work. This decision to try to punish the greed on the cross, that means TLO can't get over there as fast himself. Maybe wasn't the right one here because now he's going to be faced with a difficult game.
Whilst the Hellions pressure at the front, but realistically these 2 Banshees, 3 Banshees even, get the hatchery at the third. A few of the Hellions did die off. Some are going to go and try and reinforce the natural.
TLO's just going all in. He's lost his third hatch. Yeah. He's got Lings over there. He's going to try it to just win the game with this.
TLO, 24 have died off in the entirety of this game, but still the worker count is very even. TLO has to do even more damage. In fact, probably kill at this point to actually really hold this game on.
Yeah, he's got to find himself in a very bad position. The armory's coming in, that means 2-2 can begin, where TLO doesn't even have 1-1 being started. With the Central is still in the mind frame where he realizes that he is quite far behind in this game, and he's probably just going to go for an all-in anyway, but it'll be like a mute.
A few SCVs under it, so that was not too bad. But the thing is that TLO has really good map vision. He can spot everything that his opponent's doing right now. At the same time, can TLO really do anything to capitalize on that? I think it would be very difficult.
Well, if he catches his opponent's army just around the third base with the speed Banelings and the Mulisks, then maybe he can do something here. But it's going to be hard to make work.
The Widowmines, they're not burrowed. They are not burrowed. They don't have drilling claws either. One of them does burrow down. And actually, that Widowmine kind of still denying the third base from landing.
Yeah, TLO went a bit early there, obviously without Baneling speed done, but he saw an opportunity to get damage and he took it. But remember, Bomber can trade off units here. He still has the superior upgrades incoming. As long as he slowly establishes his third, he's still majorly in lead in this game. Even though the supply count is very similar, the upgrade's going to make a massive, massive difference because every fight that they take, in the higher supply eventually swinging in favor of Bomber.
And for now, we have only 53 workers against the 61. Technically in favor of TLO. Nice here for Bomber.
TLO has got a counterattack, and also there's no turret. So if he makes a counterattack on the right-hand side, get into the third base again, and then maybe Mulis go to the main, but he also has to deal with the waves of units coming through the middle of the map.
Yeah, he certainly does. It looks like the Zerglings are going to go to the third, and hasn't been able to properly land and start mining just yet. The Zerglings not doing too badly for themselves, but in the end, Bomber should be able to shoot that away.
Yeah, he just needs to get his third base up and running.
Yeah.
He doesn't really need to rally over there until that bunker's built, and maybe a mine or two is around his third. That'll prevent any of these counterattacks from working, and then he can start to rally over there. That's when he's going to be at his strongest. But if he doesn't, then TLO will keep counterattacking.
Yeah, I do love the path that TLO's taking for the counterattacks, knowing that he has to keep his opponent away from his door.
And he can't fight heads-on either. He can't fight head-on because of the upgrade difference. He needs to keep counterattacking and hope Bomber keeps on coming back.
Well, he is in a really good spot here to pressure this third. Once again, the bunker's going to end up falling to those Banelings. Zerglings and Mutalists. Leaving this very vulnerable. At the same time, Bomber is too far out to turn around.
Yeah, so this is really good for TLO. He's broken the third again, South. And if he comes back with his Mutalist, this counterattack heavy style is working out really well. But this is the deadly point for TLO, is these 2-2-1s. Then does it matter?
But this is a big drop into the main. The entire layer, if he's careful about this, there's a lot of Widow Mines there as well to reinforce. One of them gets a few connections on the Zerglings. The detonations are not too bad, but in the end, I think he's going to be able to save the layer. He just barely saves it.
He didn't do it. He didn't kill the layer.
Oh dear.
Things are working really well for Pop. They're just not working out.
Yeah, TLO trading blow for blow. But Bomber still has that vast army advantage. The Zerglings and Banelings moving up. It's a trap! It's a trap! He gets it all, man! He gets it all! Bomber! Wow. And, well, the supply...
Third again. If he just keeps on fighting heads-on, remember his upgrades still aren't good enough to fight heads-on properly. He's going to try one here. Does he have enough units, though?
And the Mutalisks not doing too badly for themselves. There's really not that many Widow Mines, but a great spread there from Bomber.
That's the upgrades kicking in now, as you can see. The Marines standing strong. TLO needs to counterattack again, but by the looks of it, he's not looking to set that up. His economy's weakened. He doesn't really have many minerals inside his main base, and it looks like from now on, just look at the two armies, one on one side, the other on the other, which means they're just going to have to... Otherwise, Bomber's going to start to steamroll.
Yeah, no missile turrets at that third base, so you can try and pressure it for just a little bit until those Widow Mines end up burrowing. And once again, Bomber's... Main army is way too far away, but the rallied reinforcements are enough for him to deal with it.
He's going to swing back round again.
Felt the Overlord vision gave him too much of an opportunity to react, I guess.
Carapace upgrade's going to kick in for TLO, and he's getting closer to equalizing the upgrades, but he's not equalizing the economy. He needs that fourth up and running, which he's trying to focus on. But now just, again, heads-up fights. This is where Bomber's going to win over in efficiency.
Interestingly enough, the Overseer, there's an Overseer fleet looking to move in, I guess, and contaminate. It's all right, but at the same time, can he deal with this? Because that's a huge bio army. The Zerglings flood on forward. The Banelings don't get the connections that they want at all. They all hit a lot of Marauders at the front. And Bomber splits behind this were fantastic.
He did slow down the production of Bomber a little bit inside, but as you can see, the creep spread is starting to disappear here. And Bomber's edging closer and closer to victory, which is destroying that third base.
And those Banelings now, they try and roll past the Marauders to get some Marines where they can, but even that is difficult in itself with reinforcements. There you go, GG. Bomber ties up the series 1-1.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Great hold initially from Bomber, which put him at an advantageous position. Fantastic play from Bomber, was able to stabilize and edge out on his advantage that TLO gave him in the earlier stages, we could say. Well, not really gave him, but Bomber.
I would have loved to have seen TLO go for the macro in that.